Metal objects, when they're wet or when they're covered with ice, is very difficult. It's very dangerous. I've fell so many times on the sewer grates and the metal plates. When you take your bike across the bridge, across one of the graded bridges, it'll grab onto one of your tires and it'll just start pulling you left and right and left to right. And sometimes it'll pull you left into the traffic or right into the side of the bridge. You have to be careful of erected manholes. You have to be careful of large metal grates, of street signs, of narrowing streets. These are all things that you have to be aware of and conscious of. And you have to understand that most crews don't understand to look out for cyclists. They're only aware of the motorists out there, and they design their construction sites as such.
Safety is first, because without safety you will get hurt.
You see a cab, they can be stopping right in the middle of the street, you know, you don't have any way to know except if you've seen the person, you know, raising the hand, but they could be coming from everywhere. They have good eyes, and sometimes you have eyes, but you have eyes for everything, you know, so many other things, you know, sometimes you don't see them.
I mean, I don't mean to stereotype cab drivers, but I think it's fair to say that a lot of the aggressive drivers you're going to come across are cab drivers. I mean, just the nature of their job is they've got to drive fast to make a living, or at least it seems that way.
I've seen countless accidents that have taken place with cabs when they instantly see a fare. 3 cabs at once come colliding into the same intersection. Someone pulls a U-turn in the middle of LaSalle. They never use their blinkers because they're not planning the movement. They're jumping for the fare. And that leads to a lot of accidents and moments of frustration.
It's hard to stay away from them because they're everywhere, but be careful.
A big issue for people riding when they start out riding in traffic is worrying about getting hit by car doors that open. What you always hear is that you should look and see whether there's anyone sitting in the driver's seat, or you know, other clues that the car might be, that someone might be getting out of the car.
If I'm approaching a car, I don't pass in front of the car unless I have eye contact with the driver. Otherwise, I go behind it.
I try to, as much as possible, look at the person in their mirror to make sure that, because I kind of figure that if I can see them in their mirror, they can probably see me. And buses tend to turn out into traffic regardless of what's going on. I mean, nobody's really going to let a bus in, and I think most bus drivers know that. So they're a big vehicle. They know that you got to move for them.
Buses.
When I react to the traffic, I think that some of the most dangerous things are that the drivers and motorists themselves just aren't prepared for the cyclist. They're watching the other cars and they're watching their traffic signals, and they're not prepared for a cyclist to come up across their left or pass them on the right, or to even be in the same lane as them, or most times to even be traveling at the same speed as them.
Most traffic I pass on the left. I mean, the bicycle is a vehicle, and a vehicle should pass on the left. So looking at it from just a legal standpoint, being a vehicle on an Illinois road, you should try to pass on the left.
When downtown, the best way to ride is to ride with the flow of the traffic. Going against traffic is very dangerous.
Pedestrians are the least predictable, by far and above. A person just standing there is the least predictable of all things. And you know, they might panic, they might not even see you. You know, they might jump to the left, they might jump to the right.
When you see a pedestrian crossing the street, don't try and go around them forward or backwards, because see, they'll see you going forward, they'll get scared, startled, and they'll jump backwards. Or they'll jump forward trying to get out your way. Now you just hit a pedestrian when all you had to do was follow the rule and stop.
They do crazy things, very crazy things. They don't think sometimes. You wonder, how did you do that? Why did you do that? You know, you're running and suddenly they're waiting, right? Suddenly they decide to go in front of you. Why? And I still don't understand why, but they do it, especially when it rains or when it's really bad outside. They're like coming from anywhere.